And then I saw in the article, like, I think this is the right time because you talked about you had to do an autopsy. I think this is a good time to do an autopsy on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will help clear a lot of the mental health that somebody like yourself, you started in what, 2014 with your book?
Yeah, I started writing the book in 2014, but I didn't actually, I picked up the pen for the first time in 2014, but it wasn't in me. It wasn't like, I didn't feel it. You know what I mean? I wrote it. I was starting to write in 2014 because people told me I needed to tell my story. But I didn't feel like I needed to tell my story at the time. A, because I didn't feel like who's going to buy my book. I'm not a celebrity. I'm nobody special, whatever. And yeah, I had a lot of things that went on in my life with domestic violence, my marriages, my career, which is crazy. The fact that my dad was a hitman. I spent the last 9 years of his life in jail for murder for hire. My best friend getting killed and all that type of stuff. The choices that I made that could have led me in prison or in the graveyard as well. So all those things I put out there, and I'm like, you know what? What makes me special? So I didn't feel it. But in 2017, something on the inside of me said, you got to write this book. And if you don't write this book, you're going to die. That's the God. I say that all the time. And when I say it now, I get emotional because I really felt that way. Because on the outside, I was living this facade. I had this image that I had a great job and life was good. And I was living a good life out here in LA. And I was having a good time and I was happy. And I was trying to make everybody else happy. But on the inside, man, I had some stuff that was on the inside that I didn't even know about that was literally killing me. And I mean killing me because it was almost like a cancer. And then so I started writing a little bit. And once I started writing, I felt a relief. I felt the stress being lifted from my body. I started digging into spots in my body and in my mind and my soul that I didn't even know was buried, to be quite honest with you. And I was touching on stuff and hitting on stuff like, wow, I didn't even realize that moment when I was 17 years old had an effect on me when I was 35, or the reason that I couldn't love somebody or fall in love with a woman was because of something that happened to me when I was 16 years old. I didn't even know all that stuff. So once I started writing the book, it became my therapy, and I was able to release all that stuff and get it off my body. And once I did that, I felt so much better, and I've been the happiest I've ever been since then. But what I have learned is my therapy and my mental health and my refurbishment has to continue, because I did that, unburied all that type of stuff. But if I don't go get checkups, it can come right back to you. And that's why I believe in mental health and mental therapy right now. And that's why every Friday at 12:30, I'm talking to somebody to get this stuff off my chest that I need to get off my chest.
And it's so interesting that you say that. We'll do a checkup in our cars to make sure it's good. We'll do a checkup, hopefully physically, to make sure we're good, but it's like a huge stigma of doing a mental checkup.
Yes, it is a big,
and it takes
especially for us.
people like you.
Especially for us. And that's one of the reasons why, like, so when I wrote the book, I said, okay, I put it out there, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to release it. I got my therapy out the way. It's my memoirs. It's good. But then I let somebody else read it, and it's like, you know what? You got to put this out there, because your transparency, your hurt, your pain, the things that you put other people through, and you being so honest about that, people need to see that, because they need to know that they're not alone. And the things that you've gone through, there are other people that are currently going through it and need to know that, you know what, if he made it, he can do it. And now I can give you a roadmap on how to go and get that help. So yes, it's about the maintenance that you need even after the fact. And especially in our community, because we as Black men especially, we have always, I got raised like this, it's a sign of weakness. Don't tell people your business. You know, you can't cry, hold in those emotions or whatever. Don't admit when you're hurt. All that type of stuff was killing me. And I'm here to tell you that right now, you're more of a man when you can admit that you've been doing boyish stuff for the longest time and thinking that you're being a man. And so I tell people all the time, I wasn't a man until I was 47 years old. I'm 49. Wow. I was a boy. I was a male. I was born with a penis. My man Dondre Whitfield just put out a book called Male versus Man. And I got to take this from, it's like everybody's born a male because you're born with a penis. Anatomically says you're a male, okay? If you're like that, if you're a man. But you don't grow into a man until you put away childish things. 1 Corinthians 13:11 says, when I was a child, I thought as a child, spoke as a child, understood as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Until you put away those childish things, you cannot step into your full potential of manhood. And until I wrote that book and got all that stuff off my chest and realized that the things that I was taught about what it takes to be a man was wrong, and put all that aside and admit my faults and guilts and say I'm sorry to the people I hurt along the way, I wasn't able to grow into my full manhood. And now I'm still stepping into my manhood. I feel like I've left the boy behind and I'm stepping into my manhood, but I still have not reached my full potential.